Thank you, Chair. Unsupported trade and other payables balance. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 31 to the financial statements, reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 11,928,765,229 in respect of trade and other payables. The balance includes trade payables of Kenya shillings 10,753,258,977 and employees payables of balance of Kenya shillings 1,175,506,252. The trade and other payables recorded an increase of Kenya shillings 5,740,699,993 from the opening balance of Kenya shillings 6,188,65,236. However, a reconciliation supporting the movement, including the opening balance, amount paid for the previous year balance, and payable balance for the year under review was not provided. In addition, the trade payables balance of Kenya shillings 10,753,258,977 schedule omitted critical details such as local purchase order, local service order numbers, suppliers' invoices, delivery note numbers, and date the contracts were signed, among other supporting documentation. Further, the report on pending bills verification at the departmental level, in line with the county executive's letter dated 29th August 2025, was not provided.
You have read two different paragraphs. I thought we were dealing with unsupported receivables from an exchange transactions.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Chair. Unsupported receivables from non-exchange transactions balance. The statement of financial position as disclosed in Note 22 to the financial.
Or members, now that he has read it out, we just deal with it. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's start with unsupported trade and other payables balance. Had you gone to? I think there was just one.
The last one
remaining.
In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness and existence of trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 11,928,765,229 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, we could have your response on that trade and other payables.
Chair, the increase of Kenya shillings 5 million. Sorry, Chair. Chair, the increase of pending bills by Kenya shillings 5,740,699, 5 billion, sorry, 740,699,993 in the year under review was occasioned by late exchequer release of the sum of Kenya shillings 4,540,414,966, which was received and paid in July 2025. These payments will be accounted for in the financial year ending on the 30th day of June 2026 in line with the actual accrual paid basis of accounting. Attaching hours of the second day of March 2026 at pages 254 to 279 as appendix number 10 is a schedule of the late exchequer releases showing the dates received and a list of pending bills that were paid in July 2025. Non-realization of some of the budgeted revenue in the sum of Kenya shillings 5,125,857,580. The table below shows the analysis of the unrealized revenues. Attaching hours of the second day of March 2026 at the page 280 as appendix number 10.1 is a detailed analysis of the unrealized revenue. The list of pending bills, which was annexed to the financial statements, had a summary on the first page that showed the movement of the pending bills. Tabulated below is the summarized reconciliation of the movement of the pending bills during the year. The trade payables report totaling to the sum of Kenya shillings 10,753,258,977 has been updated to include the previously missing details, i.e. local purchase order, stroke local service order numbers, suppliers, invoices, delivery notes, numbers, and dates. Date the contracts were signed. Concerning the county executive's letter dated the 29th day of August 2025, tasking the internal auditors to verify pending bills, on the 27th day of October 2025, the county government reassigned this role to the Accounts Payables Subcommittee, a subcommittee of the Project Coordination Committee on Transition from Cash Basis to Accrual Basis of Accounting. To avoid duplication of roles, attached in hours of the second day of March 2026 at pages 281 to 297 as appendix number 11 are copies of the transition from cash to accrual basis of accounting projects, coordination, committee appointment, letters and minutes of the project coordination committee. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Lelegwe, I noticed that you had not gone on record. My apologies. Please go on record.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lelegwe Tumbesi, Senator for Samburu, member of this committee.
Auditor General, let's get your response on that first before we ask questions.
Thank you, Chair. The matter is still outstanding, and if you could note, if you look at the statement of financial position, you'll note that receivables from exchange transactions, that is page 2, note 21 and note 22, you'll notice that the receivables from non-exchange, which is equitable share, was 33 from exchange transaction, that is on source revenue, was 333,690,033, and from non-exchange, which is equitable share, was 4,625,151,859, which comes to 49,558,841,892. If you compare with the pending bills growth, then there's an excess of 886,858,102. So you'll note that the expenditure is increasing at a higher rate than the revenue, and that poses a problem. And two, the opening pending bills was Kenya shillings 6.1 billion. So we've not been told how much of this 6.1 billion was actually paid within the period. So that's why the issue is still outstanding. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, now I think let's go beyond the accounting and just look at this from the perspective of the suppliers and employees of Kilifi. Again, the preparers of this financial statement failed to do an aging analysis. Auditor General, because we can't tell how old this debt is, and yet in every other financial statement we have seen an aging.
Thank you, Chair. Again, there's no aging analysis, and if you look at even the employees' payables, you'll note that the opening balance during the year was 288 million, and the closing is 1.1 billion, which means there's an increase of about 886 million during the year. So that one again has not been tied to any specific payroll month. To actually know which payroll months were remaining and paid during the year. Thank you, Chair.
So, Governor, is Mr. Bonaventure FM Wakio present?
Yes, Chair.
Bonaventure, you are the person with the professional responsibility in preparation of these financial statements, and that is why you have appended your ISPAC member number. Why didn't you age this debt? Because this is so significant. 10 billion in terms of debt must be contextualized so that we can believe you that that was the debt for current year as a result of late exchequer. How do we, where is the evidence in your professionally done financial statements?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Chair, the financial statements which we presented a separate detailed pending bills report. What the auditor is reading there...
Mwakio, the template requires you to do an aging analysis. You are the 47th county you are dealing with. We have seen it in the other 46 counties. I am asking you as a professional why you did not age the debt in the financial statements to which you have appended your signature and your membership number.
Okay, Chair, what we did, we had provided a more detailed, separate report on the pending bills, which we attached, and it was accompanied to the financial statement.
Do you have an obligation to age your debt?
We did that.
Where is it in your financial statements? Because we want to see whether this 10 billion relates to the time of the former governor or the time of the current governor. And we cannot make that conclusion unless we see an aging analysis.
We did that, Chair.
Where is it? We are looking at note 31, which has trade and other payables. In the template, underneath that table, there is usually another part where you're supposed to age your debt.
Maybe just, if you can allow me, let me just give my principal accountant, maybe just to respond on that.
How much of this debt is older than 1 year? How much is older than 2 years? How much is older than 3 years? That's what I'm asking. And I'm asking from you because you're the one who's appended his signature and membership number here.
Yeah, Chair, if you can allow me, this is the report which we had attached separately. It was not, the analysis was not included in the financial statement report, but it was attached separately.
Assuming you have it, yes. Can you then just tell us how much of this 11.9 billion is less than 1 year? How much of it is 2 years? How much of it is more than 3 years?
Yes, Chair, I can be able to read for you. Yeah, I'll start with the under 1 year. It is 7.3 billion. Then the ones aging between 1 to 2 years, it is 2.1 billion. Then those aging between 2 to 3 years is 621 million. Then over 3 years, it is 1,764,563. So the total comes to 11,928,765,228.
With respect to employee payables?
This one is included, Chair.
No. Let's separate employee payables, because if you would have done this, and I don't know why you are being obstinate, that analysis ought to be part of this financial statement, because we cannot trust whatever you are reading. I think, Auditor, maybe, I don't know why this gentleman is being intimidated. Just tell him what he was supposed to have done. Patrick.
That's true, Chairman, before the auditor comes in, because the financial statement is what is published. So whatever document is reading is not out there, it's not what has been published. So the analysis ought to have been on note 31 to the financial statement. And it's in the template.
So I think you've made yourself clear, and I hope the gentleman has understood that when it comes to public finance management, it's not about what you're keeping as a person. It's about what is publicly disclosed. And that disclosure should have been here. Now, let's look at employee payables. that 1.1 billion that you owe employees, how is it broken down?
Yeah, has he understood that that's what he's supposed to do? Because I think he's failing as a professional. What's his name, Wasa?
What?
I think,
Do you understand what's your professional obligation, what you are supposed to put in your financial statement? We start from there.
Chair, that is not a chair. Thank you for that.
So don't do the omission again. Eh?
Noted.
Yeah, so employee payables, because there's something we're trying to establish here. It's easy for a new governor to say that they have paid all their debts and whatever is remaining are unsubstantiated debts from another regime. But you can't tell if there's no aging analysis. So let's look at the employee payables and find out why you should be owing employees 1.17 billion and for what duration that has been the case.
Okay, as indicated, Chair, the total which is being owed to the employees just a minute, is 1 billion. Is 1,173,506,252.
173?
1,175,506,252. And this one, Chair, it is as per the end of that financial year.
How is it aged?
Okay, here we have not analyzed into aging. We are just given a total amount. What we had analyzed was the total amount of the 11.9. We had not categorized it as to...
But, yeah, so, Governor, these are the areas where we're saying we must also take administrative action, because this is such an important analysis that ought not to have missed in your financial statements. And more so when you look at the amount involved. I don't know whether there's any other county beside Nairobi where we have seen a pending bill of 11 billion. 11 billion is a 2-year revenue for some counties.
Chair, it's unfortunate that the officer who is answering, he knows that this financial year, from July last year up to now, we have paid how much billions on pending bills? 5 point? But you're not telling the Senate. So how did you want them to understand? You want us to leave this room, this Senate, knowing that we have all people 11 billion when we have paid 5 billion? You're also not serious, man.
Okay, Governor, you will do that exercise when you go back home. So,
Chair,
for now, let me give the directions.
You know, you say the governor should say the truth, nothing but absolute truth.
No,
Thank you for saying it.
no,
But now
he
the
might
pending
intimidate his officers. I just want us to be
Chair,
all
what I wanted to get, so does it mean, Governor, through the
They
chair,
have paid 5.7 billion, Chair.
so out of
And for an officer to stand in front of Senate, anyway, I'll deal with it when I go home.
No. Governor,
can I finish my
maybe
question?
Senator Chiragi, so that,
yes.
Governor, I think this is a question that is important even for you to understand. So, yes, we appreciate we have paid 5 billion, but it relates to which debt? Is it the current debt, the 2-year-old debt, or the 3-year-old debt? Because pending bills, it's supposed to be a fast charge. So even when you say you're happy you are paid 5 billion, we have no visibility on whether you're doing the fast charge as required by law. So it's something that we must also probe further. Senator Chirarke.
So, Governor, out of 11 billion, you have paid 5.7 billion. In your financial statements, I have not seen the aging analysis. So maybe you might have that information here or there. What was the basis of your payment of this 5.7 billion? And now that the gentleman, was it called Mwakio, through the chair, he might have to take an oath. If he can be able to now that he says he has information there, if he has the aging analysis, can he get us that so that when the governor answers about paying 5.7 billion, it would be easier? Because, Governor, to imagine that even if you still owe another almost 5 to 6, average of 6 billion, it's still a lot of money. And I want to imagine the businessmen and women of Kilifi who are being owed by the county. I can imagine the pain that they go through. So is there a schedule of breakdown of how many people have you paid in your annexures? How many are pending bill? Governor, is it here? Is it in the part of your annexures?
So maybe so that the governor can answer both.
Senator Mwaruma?
This 1.1 billion, is it possible to disaggregate it in terms of salaries and emoluments, because there were late exchequer release, then lab fund, lab trust, NSSF, payee, and so on? Is it possible to break it down like that? The 1 billion, 105 million, 506, 252.
Chair, on the issue of the bills, then I'll let the officer answer on the 1.1 billion. On the issue of pending bills here, you will realize that as much as they did not put annexures, I can explain what is going on. One is, apart from the bills you have paid, they were not paid according to age. Don't forget, Chair, we have bills which, unfortunately, sometimes, like Senator Cherogay, suffer because you realize you brought equipment for hospitals and whatever, and you need to get again more, even KEMSA, medicine and whatever, that you have to again go back and pay that one first because of the urgency of it. So sometimes you will get people who are paid according to the age. Some are paid because of the services they deliver, number one. Number two is some of the current pending bills are certificates pending of ongoing projects. You will come, for example, we are building a county headquarters, which is on the 5th floor. It's being tiled at the moment. But the only money we have paid so far is about 120 million certificates. The rest are pending. So there are projects ongoing, but they still have pending certificates because of the resources management also at the same time.
So, sorry, which report do you have there? Is it a report of a task force to look at the eligible and the ineligible pending bills, or is it a report of the age analysis that was required by the control of budget? What report are we having there?
And maybe in addition to Senator Mwaruma, that's something about segregation. The justification is, Governor, you have said you pay on need assessment. The more agent like medical supplies and whatever over ongoing projects. So that is the segregation that we wanted.
There's some here, Chair. I don't know why the officer is so nervous that he could not explain the year.
Is it,
and the
do we
age.
have that document, Governor, here?
Chair, maybe you don't.
Which report?
This is on whose book? Did you hand over this to the?
Is it a report of the aging analysis or the report
attached?
on a task force on the eligible?
It's not attached here, but it's here. So you needed to read it and tell the Senate that you have not attached it, but you can leave a copy. Where is that Makio fellow?
No, Governor, I thought as a former member of parliament, there is procedure of tabling documents.
Yes, I know, Chair.
Why are you doing things?
No, I know, Chair, but it's the fact that he cannot answer a question when he's holding a document here.
So maybe you have intimidated him too much.
No, the Senate told me, but maybe he's scared of what action will follow.
Chair, I think the issue is this 5.7 that has been paid. We must get the how it was paid. What was the justification? Then the outstanding amount, the segregation, because, and then you have brought another angle, which is unusual, of raising certificates on ongoing county government projects. So if we can get that, and I think the OAG, even in the most of the financial statements, not Muriuki, there have always been analysis that it becomes easy to dispense because we have said pending bill is a fast discharge. So I want to imagine if Kilifi is having 5 billion plus as an outstanding pending bill, based on it, and you know counties owe our people, businessmen and women, almost 200 billion Kenya shillings. In fact, the Governor, you are among the highest with the pending bill in the country, because I've seen numbers who are paying. So maybe just as out of curiosity, now that Kilifi, is there something that is attached to the historical establishment of the devolution of Kilifi that this spending bill is unusually high? Could it be attributed to some historical, like the one we just discussed, like the one where air was being paid? Chair, we need to know, because Kilifi has have unusual high pending bill. What is maybe, Chair, so that we can do, but what is, Governor, what is the general reason?
Chair.
What is the
reason, Chair,
reason?
first? The first reason, Chair, the transition report I got from my predecessors, the transition committee, they gave me a bill of 3.4 billion.
Then.
That's what I took over first before I came to office. So I've been trying to manage both the development and paying the previous bills and the current bills. The unfortunate thing, Chair, also, which probably makes us look like we have a big pending bill, is that among the bills which were pending, some of the analysis of the project, because immediately I came to office, I appointed a pending bills committee, you will realize also some of the pending bills we are paying, some of those projects are not finished. So we are now put money again to finish what we saw left over around. Don't forget the times have changed. The money required, if you required 1 million to finish a project 2022, you need maybe 2 million now to finish the same project. So those were the challenges. But we are trying to bridge the gap, Chair. You'll realize.
I think our analysis needs to be data-driven.
Yes, Chair.
And when we say it should be data-driven, your officer, the breakdown he has given us, indicates that 90% of your pending bills were incurred during your time in office. It's only 1.7 billion that is older than 3 years. So I don't think it's a historical problem where 90% has been incurred between 0 to 3 years.
The transition report, Chair, is there. I think we'll need to deliver the transition report to this House on what exactly was handed over. On the 1.1 billion, that is on the transition committee, which we have a report. We can, if you allow us, we can forward to the committee at a later date. And on the 1.1 million, the money.
Chair, just on a point of procedure, you know there is what we call equality in arms. Why is the governor ambushing us with documents we should have brought, we will bring, we will table? You should allow that decision to the chair, number one. Number two, Chair, that points to the issue of readiness, because if you are saying there is a document that was not supplied, it leaves us at a disadvantaged position, Chair, yet we want to see the numbers and that movement.
Yeah, I think at the end of this, we'll be very clear, we'll be very elaborate on the detailed information that we require to deal with this matter.
That's okay, Chair. The only thing is, Chair, maybe the reason why we have not supplied some of the information, because it was not part of the questions we received. Number two, the issue of maybe the officer, if I can assist him, so that he can answer the 1.1 billion, is that the salary of June, that is 2024, 2020, that query is for 1.1, the money came in July for the salary. So maybe it appears still that it was unspent, because most of the time we pay with Fuliza, depending if we are allowed Fuliza before July or it comes at the same time. So as you paid Fuliza.
How many months?
1 month. So at least out of that 1.1 billion, he should be able to deduct the delay of the salary of June.
How much do you pay per month?
It was May and June, actually.
May and June.
May and June. So that brings almost 1.1 billion. 800 and something plus the other utilities should bridge the gap.
Yeah, so we must, even that 1.1 billion cannot just be explained by saying it was paid, because we need to understand its components. We have seen in our experience where statutory deductions are not being remitted. We have seen where pension contributions are not being remitted. And that's why we need that detailed breakdown. To avoid a situation where we are throwing figures in the air, we shall direct that, number one, we must get a proper aging analysis for trade payables and staff and employee payables. It was omitted from the financial statement. I think we need to get visibility on that. We will also need to get a proper payment plan, the one that you've come up with for pending bills. That then will demonstrate the 5 billion you're talking about that has been paid. Under employee payables, we'll need to get a detailed breakdown and confirm that statutory remittances, deductions to SACCOs, insurance premiums, etc. have been settled, because you're concerned that you opened the year with 288 million as outstanding employee payables. We need to understand why that was older than 1 year in your books. Are you deducting from employees and not remitting? But then there's another limb to this question, where the auditor is saying, you gave directions to the internal auditor to verify the pending bills. Then you took away that instruction and gave it to something else called Accounts Payable Subcommittee. Remember, you have just told us that you had a problem with the pending bills that were handed over to you. And you explained yourself even the last time you appeared before us. Don't you think that the internal auditor would be a better responsibility to verify the pending bills rather than another subcommittee comprised of finance officers, the people who perhaps caused the problem? What was the wisdom of moving this from internal audit to accounts payable subcommittee?
Chair, I know that I instructed and appointed the internal auditor to investigate pending bills, but the accounting committee, maybe the CC Finance can explain. That was not me who appointed it. Maybe you should be able to explain that.
So who are these people? Who sits in that accounts payable subcommittee?
So I think this was done by the Department of Finance. I should explain.
Because this is such a serious thing that you have more than 10 billion, which people claim you owe them. And we had said that let's leave the Auditor General out of it. Let's use the internal auditors. And then arbitrarily, you take it from the internal auditor and you give it to a subcommittee of the transition to accrual committee. What was the wisdom?
Let the CC Finance answer that.
But who appointed governor? Who made the decision to withdraw that power from the internal audit?
No, I appointed the internal audit. If somebody went and did anything else which I'm not aware, I can explain it here.
Okay, let's hear from CC.
Thank you, Chair, and with the authority of my governor. I think we're handling two separate issues. The internal audit was specifically looking at the pending bills, but this committee that we are talking about here is a committee that was appointed as a transitional committee to move from, particularly on the reporting side, where now we were moving into the accrual. So this committee was specifically looking at transiting from the previous reporting system or method to now the accrual. So it,
I think just go back to the written response that has been read by the governor. Okay. And I would expect that you were involved in its preparation. You have said that the county government reassigned this role to the accounts payable subcommittee, full of finance officers who perhaps are the masterminds of the fake pending bills. CEC, have you seen what, because what you are saying is different from what is on paper. What is on paper says that that responsibility was reassigned from the internal auditor to the accounts payable subcommittee. So you are taking it from the internal auditor, bringing it back to finance. And perhaps finance is a crime scene.
Through you, Chairman.
Chair,
Who appointed this subcommittee?
Both the That the person who was acting as CC that time and the current are both here, so maybe they can help each other to answer those questions.
Yeah, so CC, your explanation does not tie to this because you're saying that your explanation is that they're complementary. The response here says it was reassigned. It was taken away from internal auditor, taken to another subcommittee that is controlled by finance.
So let's say, let the chief officer of finance, seems like he wants to whisper something to me. Can you say it to the committee?
Okay, chief officer of finance.
Can you say what you are trying to tell? Can you explain?
Yes, Chief Officer, and please be guided by use as a reference point should be the governor's written response, because that's what was submitted under oath.
Thank you, Chair, and with the blessings of His Excellency the Governor, this subcommittee was not supposed to take away the responsibility of the internal auditor in checking the pending bills. It was supposed to check the baseline of pending bills.
Chief Officer, do we dismiss the report that has been tabled by the governor? Because the report said that the role was reassigned to the accounts payable subcommittee. That is what has been put before us under oath.
Yeah. It's not supposed to disqualify what the governor has presented. Just giving a clarification on.
Because you have said, we have gone further and even said that was done to avoid duplication of roles. I mean,
I think it's the language.
No, that it cannot be language.
Even Chair, you know, a reading of that response, Chair, they are saying that this role was reassigned to account payable subcommittee, a subcommittee of the project coordination committee of the transition from cash basis to accrual basis of accounting, to avoid duplication. So which committee was that role reassigned? Because there are two committees here in the same sentence. Which subcommittee took over the role?
So, Governor, what do we do now? Do we trust your written response? We're in a big dilemma now.
You know now, Chair, I don't know if he's the internal auditor because you can see the internal auditor is the chair in that committee. So what happened between when we appointed her to check pending bills and that approval committee when it was formed and she became the chair? I can really not take responsibility on that, Chair.
Well, maybe the CC should tell us who made
My answer is correct.
Who made that decision to even reassign?
The decision of appointing internal auditor.
No, reassigning that role.
Reassigning, I don't know who did the decision. Maybe after appointed the necessary to appoint another committee to help our team. I don't know, but I appointed the internal auditor because I wanted to know exactly how much pending bills we have and if there's value for what we are supposed to pay, if projects were done or not done.
And really, that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
If there is a reassignment which you cannot account for, then there's a big problem. Because you see, Governor, we don't exist in a vacuum. Sometimes you receive anonymous messages around pending bills, payment in Kilifi. But if you now start seeing a pattern where the governor gives directions and officers reassign, then it tells you there's a problem. We are very, very uncomfortable with reassigning this role from internal audit to the same players who can generate documents from tender to delivery notes.
My question, Chair, would be to the auditor, even as we're grappling with that transfer. You know, the gravamen of this audit query is about unsupported trade and other payables of 10.7 billion, no, 11.9 billion. That in addition to the trade payables, that's the second paragraph of the same paragraph, paragraph 6. It reads, in addition, the trade payables balance of 10 billion, 10.7 billion, schedule omitted critical details such as LPO, LSOs, supply invoices, deliver notes, date of contracts, and so on. So maybe the auditor, have you received these now? And can you account for the 10.7 billion that you queried?
Thank you, Chair. No, we've not received that information in a schedule with those details. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you need to fix this problem. I'm trying to look at even the designation, and I see this letter signed by your CC for Finance, Peter Mwarogo Samuel.
Yeah, he's here. That's why I wanted him to explain.
So, Peter Mwarogo Samuel, the law required you to set up this committee for a completely different purpose, for transition from cash to accrual. Why did you usurp the function of the internal auditor by taking away that power from the internal auditor?
Thank you, Chair, for let me take this opportunity to clarify. The power of the internal auditor was not usurped in that, because the role of this committee was supposed to work on the transition to the accrual basis of accounting.
Have you read the written response that the governor has read?
I think there was an error in the written response, which we accept because it was it's not changing.
It cannot be an error.
Yes.
It is a very, very substantive matter, and in support, you have attached Appendix 11. There's Appendix 11 here, and even in that transition to accrual accounting committee, I can see the internal auditor
is part of that
as the secretary, isn't it?
Is it the chair?
No. The internal auditor is there as a what?
The chair.
Look at minute 4 of 2025, 2026, terms of reference.
Internal auditor is supposed to be the chair of that committee.
Which committee?
The transition committee to the subcommittee for the transition to accruals.
The chief officer finance was designated as a chairman, the director accounting services a project coordinator, while the director internal audit services was a secretary. That is as per the minutes you have submitted. Now, this is a team that you want to verify pending bills. Chief officer finance, who may have been responsible for fake pending bills. Director accounting services, who may be responsible. What then would be the independence, functional independence of the internal auditor? When made the secretary to the chief officer, made secretary to the director accounting services in terms of verifying the accuracy and completeness of pending bills. You'll just end up with, it'll just be a lab for manufacturing and laundering pending bills. There is a problem here, Governor. So I think we have demonstrated enough of it. We might just want to ask you to do one or two things so that when we come to Kilifi, we can have a better conversation. Because I think you have seen where the gaps are. Please go and review this so that when you are presenting pending bills, even you as a governor, you've got a good feeling that it is verifiable and it is accurate. But you need to look at those internal reassignments because they might conflict the objective you have as a CEO of the county.
Thank you, Chair. And I have just a committee which I gazetted, and I've just completed to look into all those things you see in their papers, which will be reporting to me in the next few weeks. So that will be able to give me a really.
Okay. Since we have a definite date when we come to Kilifi, we can probe this further because it's not just numbers. These are small companies. These are lives that are at stake. So maybe when we come to Kilifi, make sure that we've got a more detailed analysis of this and better responses than what we have received here.
But here I'm very uncomfortable because if pending bills worth 10.7 billion, the documents are not there. It means that these people will not be paid. So you need to really give us an indication where these documents are. If they are not within the presence of county government of Kilifi, then the suppliers should really provide.
They are, Chair.
Yeah?
There, we have,
provided.
as I've said,
yes.
You will see there's a gazette. I did not, because it was not part of the questions, I did not bring it. I've had a pending bills committee running for the last 60 days. They have just completed their work. They have all the vouchers and pending bills with them. The last 2 months' bills were being paid after they clear document from that committee. And not only the document, but they must clear. The instructions and terms of reference from me was 2 things. The voucher and the really project. Pictorial, or the committee goes physically to verify before they tell Treasury to pay. So we have more details. We'll provide that, Chair, when you come.
Okay, fine. So I think the last observation here, there is something here, honorable members, that is crazy. In the sense that in the month of July 2025, Kilifi County received 4.5 billion. That is in the management response. Management response, page 8, where the governor is talking about late exchequer releases. The governor's response on page 8, where the governor explains the reasons for the pending bills. And I think it's a matter of national concern. If 4.5 billion can come in July, and the entity is expected to utilize that money within those timeframes. I don't know, today is 15th of June. You have 15 days to the end of the financial year. How much remains unremitted to Kilifi?
May and June, Chair.
And that's how much in total?
Will be 2.2 or something, thereabouts.
2.2?
Yeah. But you'll see that
to the end of the financial year?
Yes.
So this one was 4.5 billion.
Chair, you'll see you have money there from conditional grants. Kilifi has a lot of that. We have the water, we have like 1.7 billion. We have royalties, 950, which was probably pending for 2 years. We have KUSAP, we have KISIP, we have FLOCA. We have all these things. So I think these guys should be able to explain all that money was for which entities.
No, I mean, it's not a problem. We are just asking ourselves, if you're given 4.5 billion in July and given 14 days to spend it, because that's the situation, isn't it?
Yeah, what happens here is...
The system is open up to 15th of July.
Yes, what happens here is some of these monies, they don't stay in the CRF. They go straight to the entities, special purpose account. If it's water, it goes to the 2 companies, because it's indicated they have 700 million maybe for Malindi Water, 500 million for Kilifi Water. It's transferred. If it's KIPES, the money is transferred to the special account of KIPES. So it does not stay in the same account. It will be, yes.
What Chair is saying is you must spend that money within 15 days. And what we are saying is it's very untidy the way national government is transferring cash. I thought you should agree with us. That
yes, I agree with you. Yes. We have received the money very late.
Yes, that's the issue we are
actually
trying to...
And actually we received after you people intervened, the senators intervened, that the money is... You remember there was the signing of the conditional grants, which delayed for so long. First it came to you, then it passed through you, then the president assented. It all took so long. Actually, the World Bank, the country director visited, and we had a meeting with me, with all the team of World Bank. That's why they have extended the time of completing these projects, because it was not tenable that the money came to Treasury, but they did not, for some reason, disburse this money. But I think the government, national government, managed to explain to World Bank, so they came and we adjusted all the timelines.
I think, Governor, this is a challenge we throw to you.
Yeah.
The next time the Council of Governors is meeting in Kilifi, let them make resolutions that are more useful to the nation. There is no way that you can get 25% of your money in July, and then you have to spend it in 14, 15 days. Those are far more productive issues to engage on. This amount of money is what Tharaka Nithi gets in a year. Tharaka Nithi spends that money in 365 days, and then it is sent to you to be spent in 14 days. I mean, we must hold Treasury to account. It is not, there is no, unless they are gods and angels in Kilifi. If you have to spend 4 billion in 14 days, itakulwa. So that must be the conversation. We jointly take a position and face the National Treasury head on. This is extremely untidy. 4 billion in July, and we have to spend it within 15 days.
Thank you, Chair. We'll need help from you. I know we still struggle through Council of Governors, but if the Senate committee comes in, will help us a big deal, because you can even summon Treasury.
Just to go on record is that, you know, National Treasury has been always violating Article 219, because when the money is appropriated by the Parliament, it should be released without undue delay. And I remember, Chair, I think all of us in this room, except Senator Kataya, we were in the last session, and we had to censure the former minister, Ukuri over similar matters of delay in exchange exchequer releases to counties. So I don't know what is the wisdom of National Treasury to delay the release of the money up to the last minute. And of course, there is the issue of now EGP. There is the issue of deadline and access through the IFMIs. So there are still many challenges with IFMIs in terms of, and also control of budget.
Yeah, actually, where we spend a lot of time is the control of budget. If you see the last disbursement, it took us at least 4 weeks to be cleared everything. As I'm talking to you this morning, I was battling with my teams to make sure that the legal department of COB clears insurance for our staff. Don't forget the insurance expired. I've been negotiating with the insurance company that please don't discontinue us. But it's already 4 weeks now. The money we have in the account, but we can't pay because we are waiting for clearance.
Chairman, I mean, Governor, I thought SHA is working. Why are you taking private insurance?
And I knew that is where Congo Mugen would want to go. I was just waiting for that. I thought the governor, I think I can assist you, Governor. I thought you meant other forms of insurance like car insurance, car cover. So why is Senator Congo Mugen quick to run to SHA? And by the way, he was missing in United Opposition rallies in Western. You should have said those ones in rallies, not in this committee.
Order, members.
Chaired by the broad-based chair.
There is a substantive audit finding on irregular procurement of insurance services. I think we can have that conversation when we get to it. Now,
you know, we keep learning. I want to understand. Teachers are covered by SHA. It's working. We, day in, day out, we get serious queries.
Chair, point of relevance.
From...
we are not discussing teachers cover.
Just a minute.
No, let me just prosecute, then we rule.
Yeah, you have been asking us to ask some of the questions, yet when it comes to
I think let's allow Senator.
We are facing this problem, including where I come from, Nyamira, where you find we are paying a lot of money to SHA to cover employees working within the county government. And again, you are paying a lot of money to private insurance companies. Notice, I think we had a big issue from Nandi, audit query. So I want to really understand, how do we progress as a country? When I was in the health committee last time, we had said if we have a universal health coverage, more money will be paid to that entity so that it's liquid to support universal health coverage. Now, with this idea of counties opting for private insurance, how do you reconcile?
Now, Governor, let's just to make sure that we are still relevant and in the audit, let's just examine that under irregular procurement of insurance services.
Thank you, Chair.
I think that's under lawfulness. It's the first paragraph on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. Auditor General, so that it's not a hypothetical conversation. We can see how much Kilifi is spending on insurance and whether there could have been better value for money if it was done through a state insurance scheme.
Thank you, Chair. Irregular procurement of insurance services. Management engaged an insurance firm to provide medical services, medical insurance at a cost of Kenya shillings 398,331,861 per year through a contract signed on 27th January 2023 to run from March 2023 to 29th February 2024 with an option of renewing the contract by the client subject to an internal performance review by the client's representative, and a notice to renew shall be served to the service provider not later than 1 month preceding the end date. A new contract agreement was signed on March 2024 for a period of 1 year until 28th February 2025 with an option of renewal by the client subject to an internal performance review by the client representative, and a notice to renew shall be served to the service provider not later than 1 month preceding the end date. The contract was again renewed for a period of 2 months from 4th March 2025 to 4th May 2025 at a cost of Kenya shillings 79,666,373 through an addendum agreement dated 25th February 2025. However, based on the contract sum for the last 2 years, the prorated cost of the 2 months is Kenya shillings 66,338,643, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 13,277,730. This was contrary to Section 139, Subsection 2, Subsection A of the Public Procurement and Asset Procurement Disposal Act, which states that an accounting officer of a procuring entity, on recommendation of an evaluation committee, may approve a variation of a contract, which shall be accompanied by a certificate from the tenderer making a justification for such cost extension of the contract period. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the county government of Kilifi did a fresh tender advertisement for the medical insurance services on the 18th day of February 2025. On the 25th day of February 2025, the county government of Kilifi received a complaint from an advocate on material governance issues to be addressed. On the strength of the complaint, a consideration for termination was initiated, and the tender was ultimately cancelled on the 10th day of March 2025, following an advisory letter reference number PPRA stroke MSA stroke 5 stroke 10 volume .171, dated the 7th day of March 2025 from the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. To avoid the risk of exposure of our staff and their dependents from non-coverage of medical insurance owing to procurement procedural delays, the accounting officer extended the contract with the service provider for a period of 2 months, pursuant to the recommendations from the Contracts Implementation Committee, following a meeting held on the 25th day of February 2025. Further, the premiums for the 2-month extension were higher than the prorated amount, since members had fully access to their full benefits for the 2 months, and the benefits could not be prorated. A risk premium of 20% was charged to cater for the members who might have assessed fully cover limits within the 2 months. Attaching hours of the second day of March 2026 at pages 700 to 719 as appendix number 22 are minutes of the Contract Implementation Committee dated the 25th day of February 2025, authorizing extension of the contract to the accounting officer. 2, request letter by the county government of Kilifi for extension of the medical contract for 2 months, dated the 25th day of February 2025. Acceptance letter by the medical insurance cover provider for the extension of the contract from the service provider, stating the additional 20% risk premium, dated the 26th date of February 2025. Quotation for premiums from the service provider for the 2 months extension. Minutes of the Contract Implementation Committee dated 27th day of February 2025. Acceptance letter by the county government of Kilifi of the quotation of premiums dated the 28th day of February 2025. Letter referenced KCG PSM PO 2024/2025/volume 1 /07 and date the 18th day of March 2025 by the county government of Kilifi to the Director General, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Letter reference EKA/PPRA 006/006 and dated the 25th day of February 2025 by the law firm of Onindo and Associates Advocates to the Director General, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Advisory letter reference PPRA/MCA/5 MSA/5/10 volume 1 71 and dated the 7th day of March 2025 from the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Based on the client's response, the query was asking for 2 things. One was on approval for the variation of the contract, the procedure that is applied, and a recommendation from the evaluation tender committee. Those documentation are not within the documents attached, and that was the basis of the query. So in terms of the response, the management was still in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you have given a very elaborate response. Why can't it be supported by documentary evidence?
I don't know what time when we have tendencies sometimes here, which I always try to run on my officers, that the time they get the documents most of the time is when the auditors either have exited or whatever, but we have said we'll do it differently. We have been in communication with the AOG that during the entry and exit, when I'm there myself, I'll be able to get in between what they are looking and they are missing so that it's provided for. But in the meantime, Chair, if you allow us, we'll provide this to the AOG, ASP, as soon as possible.
It's not part of the annexures you have here, because I'm going through your appendix 22.
I think the variation was not part of. There's some documents, but the variation I don't think is there.
Okay, so if it's not here, then the matter is still open. Now we might then ponder on the question raised by Senator Okongo Mogeni. You are spending 400 million a year on staff medical insurance. Can this not be provided through the Social Health Authority if they've got an institutional cover?
Chair, unless we engage. I know when we were in National Assembly at one time, we engaged in NHIF. Unless we engage, because you realize that the payments SHA is working very well. From our hospitals, we can say the only thing we have is always the delay of reimbursement. Otherwise, payment for a client, when you walk into the hospital, you have been treated, and payment will be done and will release you. But our reimbursement now is what takes time. Don't forget, many of the private hospitals here have not yet embraced to take the SHA in their hospitals. So, and for us to be able to maintain the insurance for our staff and their families, we are still forced to keep this. Still, when we have a stable and that many private hospitals can accept this SHA, then we can be able to engage our staff on that.
Governor, you note the contradiction.
No, there's no contradiction, Chair.
Because you're saying it works very well. So
For us,
the question
in the
is,
government hospital.
If it works so well, why would you need to go to Amana Insurance Brokers and Britam, a private medical insurance provider?
Chair, what I meant, it works very well in the government hospitals.
In fact,
not the private hospitals.
Governor, through the chair, you see, I don't know why you are telling us about a private hospital. I thought you should be telling us that you have public hospitals in Kilifi that can serve the people of Kilifi. Because health is devolved, you can make your hospital to be better than Aga Khan. And people of Kilifi will seek medical help from your public hospitals. You don't need to come here and confess that you are of the view that private hospitals are better equipped than our government entities. And then, just to borrow from what the chairman said, this meeting you had in Kilifi, if the problem with SHA is on defined benefits, you know, you can, as COG, you can make a request to Senate to make some amendments to the law so that SHA has defined benefits that can be accessed by the people working in your counties. If you want inpatient of a certain amount, outpatient, dental, you can make that proposal so that we can say governors are taking care of the health of people who reside in our counties.
Thank you, Chair. I think on that, Chair, what I must say is, one, it's a very good idea, and that's what I'm really looking forward. I have already engaged different partners who are locals of Kilifi to start providing a private wing at Malindi Hospital, eventually at Kilifi Hospital, so that all these facilities which...
Chair, that is dangerous. I don't agree with that because maybe we went with health committee. In one of the sub-counties, governor, in a level 4 hospital called Maraba sub-county in Tindred near Kisumu, they have done what you are trying to do. So you find where ordinary the Olopolois are walking into is very dirty, there's no drugs, there's no... But in the same hospital, the one they have is using that the SHA runs, has everything, has drugs, has doctors, is very clean. So it creates two classes of citizens, which is dangerous.
So let's hear what is...
we are not discriminating anybody, Chair. You will see the different type of services. The insurance does not only for, it's not only for our staff. What we are trying to encourage now with the improvement we are doing in hospitals, I wish we got the hospitals at a level where we could already admit. But now you could see, we are admitting some of the hospitals, and we have tried now to accredit even some insurances so that even any other person who does not work in the county but is insured can still be able to come and pay there. If they are not insured, they have another private insurance. That's where we want to go with hospital, but does not mean we are discriminating the other.
Without maybe the governor going to private insurance or private wing of a public hospital, what is wrong with just enhancing SHA? Have you approached SHA to have something equivalent to enhanced NHIF for public servants? Because really, if you have 400 million pumped into SHA, I think it will work even better. So what are the challenges? Have you approached SHA? What did they say?
As I said, they want to borrow the chairman and Senator Mugeni's advice that we engage a COG and engage SHA and see if we can come with better terms. I know that we did it when we had when we were in Parliament, when the former members, we have what was called FOPA, which we negotiated with NHIF, and they were paying for us substantive amount of money through NHIF to sustain especially members who had left Parliament and they did not have insurance. So we'll approach SHA.
There was, I think someone introduced themselves in a delegation as head of health or something, medical services. They've gone out because
Chief
really,
officer is here for health services.
That's a chief officer, health services.
Yeah.
Now, chief officer, beyond what has been queried here, maybe just going back to Senator Mogeni's question, does SHA have an institutional product that can cover the employees of Kilifi? Have they developed something?
Yes, but there are some services, scope of services that by the time we are thinking of engaging the private insurance company, we had not set up. Well, I'll give an example. By that time, we didn't have a single CT scan in the county. So we had to refer those patients to another county, probably in private hospitals. So because of those services that we did not have at that particular moment, this idea of having...
We didn't have a CT scan.
Yes, but we do now.
And yet
yes.
we have sat here for the last 7 years approving money for managed equipment scheme. MES, which was supposed to provide those facilities.
Yes, but the management equipment services, the packages were not standard for all the counties. The counties were getting CT scans, others were getting MRI, others were lab, other counties were ICU. So for Kilifi, at that time, we did not have the CT scan, but we have now. We are actually having 2. So I'm just giving that as an example, that the scope of services that, sorry.
How did you acquire that CT scan?
We procured one as a county, and then now there's the new National Equipment Program, the NESP. We have also acquired 1 CT scan through that program. So we have 2 CT scans now. So now there will be no need for even our staff to get these services from either the private hospital or out to the county.
And that's it's an important point, which maybe we can just deliberate on it a bit. And I like the information. So it means that what stops us from going full blast on SHA for employee cover is the sorry state of public facilities.
Yes, especially equipment and quite some services that probably the healthcare workers will run. Like, for example, we could be offering the general surgery through the normal way, but a healthcare worker would want to benefit from a service that he himself is offering. For example, laparoscopic surgery. We might not have the tower for laparoscopic surgery, but it's available in a private hospital. Yes. So
I get the point. I understand you. So the responsibility still goes back to the county government.
Because you see, it's you, Governor, to make your county hospital the most attractive facility. Like Chief Officer, God forbid, if you collapsed in your office and we needed to rush you to hospital, will we go to the county referral hospital or will we opt to go to the private hospital?
Right now, I can confidently say that we are, and you will be able to witness that when you come to Kilifi, you will visit. There's a lot of investment that through the Governor, His Excellency, have done, and we have all the services now.
Which one? So if we have which one?
The Kilifi County Referral Hospital.
Okay. You have a heart surgery?
Yes, we have a cardiothoracic surgeon. We have a cardiothoracic surgeon who just come to school. So we're in the process of equipping 1 theater out of the 6 theaters we have, so that we can have open heart surgery. In the moment, we did not have ICU. Now we have an ICU, so we can.
If you come from Speaker Kingi's village,
yes, Marafa,
and you had a problem, how long will it take you to get there? To your state-of-art facility?
About 20 minutes.
From Adu to Kilifi. From Adu to Kilifi will probably be 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah,
And
in
the
which
road
case,
is
1 hour plus.
the cardiac will be arrested by that time.
Yeah, but Chair, what we are doing...
Governor, as you respond,
now.
Governor, as you respond,
Governor,
because
the road is tarmacked.
Only I did 4 kilometers when I came to office of that road. Now the president has come up with a program to tarmac it all the way to Kamale.
So you might not have cardiac arrest out there.
So, Governor, for some of us who were born in that era, when government was government, me, I was born in a government hospital. I saw that we are encouraging our women to go and deliver. Is it a level 2?
Yes.
Primary health care.
Yes, yes.
Have you improved the beds? Because the last time we made a visitation in a health facility, mama naza analala kwa ile kitanda flat. In a private, you'll find this bed, they adjust. Unafinya tu namna hii, the way moyo went somewhere, inainuka tu pole pole. I don't know whether you have, that's what we are looking at. You know, some of us who believe in devolution,
Chair,
I don't know whether we have reached that level.
We have changed all that, Chair. When I came to office, we had only the fabricated beds. Now we have all the modern beds. Even when you have the business of you having family members to lift you up because you are too heavy to be treated by the doctor, we have now a remote control. You can turn anybody at any weight. We have about 16 of those. And then the other beds like Mombasa Hospital and Nairobi. When you come to Kilifi, Chair, I invite you to visit Malindi Hospital and Kilifi with me, and you'll see the transformation of health. The problem we still have, why we have all what we are saying, people we still have to take insurance, we still very low on diagnostic. Where I sit since I came to office, and the doctors and the team here, they'll tell you, what I'm really fighting for is diagnostic. We had no ICU working, we had only 1 bed, now we had 11 in Kilifi. I am doing another 11 beds ICU in Malindi and HDU. By the time you come, we'll be full operational. We have finished constructing everything. You will also find that when it came to things like dialysis, they were non-existent when I came to office. So what I do through partnership with the Hungarian embassy, I got now a cooperation where they do placement of beds and we buy reagents. So now we have dialysis in Kilifi County. So if we put together all these things here, we will not need to go to
no, Governor, you are scaring us. Yes. Because you can't say in 10 years, when you came in, there was no dialysis, there was no CT scan.
The bed was one working, Chair. I didn't say there wasn't, there was one working.
I think we need to be fair to the past administration.
No, Chair, but Chair,
you have got a very beautiful mansion.
No, Chair.
As a governor, it can't be that there was no dialysis.
I've never stayed in that mansion, Chair, since I came to office.
And you even say there was
nevertheless,
no CT scan.
How many dialysis beds do you have now? As we
have in Kilifi 5, total 11.
They all counted.
And with our cooperation with the Hungarian government, we are expecting 13 more. We had a problem with what is going on now. We should have received the other 14 to expand.
Okay. Chair, maybe a nice.
But the truth, Chair, is I'm not trying to really this on what you do when you come. We'll take you in a small movie. You see how we took health and where we are now. Maybe you'll appreciate.
So, Chair, before we go to movies, can you tell us how many ICU beds do you have as per now? And then, Chair, maybe before you, just on indulgence, Governor, you remember there was that time of COVID, and there were creation of isolation centers, there were ICU beds, what have you. Then, unfortunately, you also had the challenge of Shakahola, where the bodies are yet to be released. I'm told it's still in Malindi sub-county morgue. So with all these challenges, what you picked from, where you picked from to where you are, it looks like for the past 10 years there was nothing happening. Now it's happening under your leadership.
They did what they could do, but you have had what all the new things we are trying to put into place. As I'm talking to you, the MRI which was bought with that equipment is absolute now. You can't use it. The ICU from 1 bed, now we're at 7. And because of that confidence I have, that's why my father was admitted in the same hospital till he passed on. Yeah, and many other leaders. The other day, the MP for Kilifi North, the mother was there, was first in a coma, was released, came back after a few months. You couldn't that do before. At the moment, actually, Malindi and Kilifi is serving Tana River and sometimes Lamu. We have many, and Garissa, we have many patients from there coming to Kilifi on CT scan on all these other things. So we are building up the health sector. I don't want to condemn the previous government that they do something. They tried their best, but what you realize, and you queried us before, even during COVID, some of the things which were bought were already secondhand from wherever they came from. All what I'm investing on now is every equipment I buy brand new. That's the difference.
Yeah, so members will, when we go to Kilifi, I know that the health committee will also move around to see some of the benefits or some of the gains. And,
we can do what we did with Busia. You remember we did
Yes, yes. And I think oversight is best done on the ground. We'll also join the health committee to look at some of these issues. But I think where we started off was this 400 million. If every other county was to spend the same amount on medical insurance through private underwriters, it's about 5% of the money we send to counties, because it's almost 20 billion. So the question we must ask ourselves is, if we agree that SHA is viable and that it can work, why shouldn't we invest in facilities, public facilities, and so that even if you're paying premium, it goes to SHA rather than to the private underwriters? Because of this 400 million, 10% is already lost as a commission to brokers. So that's a broad conversation that we should be having. As to the substantive audit issue, I think just provide those certificates that the auditor is asking for, because the explanation here makes sense, because insurance companies sometimes apply short-term rates, and short-term rates are not exactly equivalent to the prorated figure. So please provide that certificate so that we can close this matter. We had agreed that we'd run this meeting up to 2. I can see we are 20 minutes past 2. The reason for that was, if any matter remains unaddressed, and there are very many issues that have remained unaddressed, we can have some business to do when we come to Kilifi in terms of site visits, and also it will allow you to put your documentation in order. You have seen the issues you have had with pending bills, and one of the 2 matters that we have covered so far. So I want to beg the indulgence of the senators that we can deal with one matter, and then once we are done with that, we can defer the rest of the issues to our next sitting in Kilifi. And that would be on deposits and prepayments, supported refundable deposits and prepayments. That's on number 7 on the certificate. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported refundable deposits and prepayments. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in note 32 to the financial statements, reflect refundable deposits and prepayments balance of Kenya shillings 125,388,855, which was a decrease of Kenya shillings 59,381,194 from a balance of Kenya shillings 184,770,049 reported as at 1st July 2024. However, the reported balance was not supported by a deposit retention register. In addition, Note 20 to the financial statement on cash and cash equivalent reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 26,386,567 held in the county deposit bank account, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 99,002,288. In the circumstances, the accuracy, completeness, and existence of refundable deposits and prepayments balance of Kenya shillings 388,855 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response.
Thank you, Chair. Attached in hours of the second day of March 2026 at the pages 298 to 282, as appendix number 12 is a copy of the County Government of Kilifi Deposit Account Retention Register as at the 30th day of June 2025. The variance of 99, the variance of 99 1,002,288 refers to money borrowed from the deposit account. The sum of Kenya shillings 89,501,089 was refunded on the 27th day of February 2026, attached in hours of the 2nd day of March 2026 at pages 383 as appendix number 12.1 is a copy of the Kilifi County Deposits account number 1,357,339 account statement. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. We reviewed, as I had stated earlier, in my response to the unrefundable deposits, they are referred to on note 20 and note 32. And you'll find that on note 20, the decrease is about 137 million. And note 32, the decrease is about 59 million, which comes to about 196 million in total. So if you look at the appendix that they're actually giving, if you look at appendix 12.1, which is 383, basically that amount is not reflected in the bank statement, because the bank statement that we have shows a cumulative figure of should be about 110 million. And if you look at the decrease is about 196 million. So there's still a variance that needs to be looked at.
Now, Auditor, I think let's just go step by step. You required a deposit retention register.
Register, yes.
Has that been provided?
No.
Governor, the requirement was a deposit or retention register to support the reported balance.
Chair, what is attached there is a bank statement, but if you require further explanation, then I could give.
So, Governor, what's the value of your appendices? Because you have Appendix 12 and 12.1.
Was to prove the discrepancy. The register was not there. Now it's there.
Auditor General, have you looked at that Appendix 12?
Pardon? Yes, I've looked at it, yes.
Does it answer your query on a deposit stroke retention register?
No, a deposit register should actually show you the receipts and the payments out of the account and the remaining balance at the end of the period. Thank you, Chair. And it doesn't meet that criteria.
So, Governor, the Auditor General is saying that this is about 100 pages of hot air.
No, it's not true. Maybe if he didn't have the documents, now he can verify. Can ask for time to verify. But I'll give Makio and the CEO Finance to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, a register, it's either there or not. So it's not something that we should even debate.
And the
Can you answer?
6 that I asked about, I saw it had something to do with retention. Annex 6, if I can refer, where I pointed they were blanks. If you look at the Annex 6 of your document, there is the schedule of retention. Does it explain the same?
The two rows that you had cited earlier.
The whole of it also, because when you go through Annex 6, the total governor of, you have indicated all these as retention. It comes to, I think it was 200, just with your indulgence, Chair. It was coming to 286 million. Is this the same register in Annex 6? Governor?
Yeah, what is attached there, it reads in turn, Kilifi County Retention Account Register. So I'll give one of the finance officers to explain that.
Governor, is it the same with Annex 6? Is it the same register?
No, it's not.
Oh, these are
It's
totally
on
different.
page 1.
Because these are list of payments paid out of deposit account.
On page 298,
Yes.
You see that register there. So can you explain?
98.
Yeah, the auditor says that is not what he wanted.
Yes. Chair, if I can explain, if you go to appendix number 12, appendix number 12, that is a retention register, where the first column, we have payments retained. We have payments paid out of retention. The second column, we have payments retained, and we have the balance. That is the cumulative balance in the retention register, in the retention account, in the last column.
Auditor General, first of all, the print is very tiny, so we're struggling to make sense. But I'm seeing on page 382, there is a balance there, a total balance of 120. Can you read it out, officer? This is your document. What's the total on page 382?
Chairman, the amount is 125,388,855.33. That's the cumulative.
Okay, so auditor, is this what you wanted, or there was further information that was required?
Thank you, Chair. I guess when we say about a register would be an independent document that actually shows, one, the receipts received and the receipts out of the account, and two, when you receive the receipts, there has to be a serial number that follows a sequence that shows you the completeness of the information. On the payment side, you should also see a serial number that is paying out, so that when you look at the serial numbers, then you can see the completeness. Basically, what we've given here, as much as they're saying it's a register, but when it comes to now the assertion of completeness, it's very difficult to tell whether it's actually complete. And two.
Okay, yeah, just before you lose us, I think, Governor, the key query here is that the prior year, you had a balance of 184 million. There was a movement of 59 million, which could have been payments, isn't it?
Yes.
And so you ended up with a balance of 125 million. Your register should have also included those payments. Is that what you're saying, Auditor General?
Pardon?
The register should have included the payments to confirm the movement from 184 to 125.
Yes, Chair. Because we need to have an opening balance, then you
Yes.
see the receipts, then you less the payments, then you get the balance.
So how do we move from 184 to 125?
Right.
Because that was also part of the query. 59.38 million. You have given us a schedule for 125, but the Auditor General says you started at 184, and he has no idea how you closed at 125.
Maybe, Chair, also because the person who was dealing with this in AOG is disposed, maybe we need to get the person relieving to acquaint himself with the information you have. Then whatever you think needs to be forwarded, and especially on your Kilifi trip, the queries we have, if we get a list of all the issues which we need to provide paperwork, we could do that, Chair. Because now...
Governor, the Office of the Auditor General is not a person.
Yes, I know.
It is an institution.
I know, Chair.
So the absence of one person cannot invalidate our proceedings.
But, Chair, if you see the register, I know that, Chair, but you know the information we have here, depending on when he took over to deal with this matter, would probably have not gone through with all the document here. But alas,
no, Governor, I mean, these members are have got the appropriate ability. All you need to demonstrate to us here is your movement from 184 million to 125 million.
So I'll give one of the officers to go.
Yeah.
Can you go through it? because they're so small, I can't read, Chair.
Chair,
The governor is also struggling to read
Chair,
it, so I wonder how we are going to...
As an industrious member of this committee, the majority is constructions of toilets. So maybe you will tell us why do classrooms? I thought it comes with attached with toilets, because majority I have been skimming through, and I told you, Governor, you are lucky some of us read these things in the interest of Kenyans.
You mean what?
We read. In fact, in your people decided to bring us a small print, thinking that we'll not see.
No,
But
Chair,
some of us have even spiritualized that we can see.
I have the same problem always, Chair. I always tell them to
And
make
you
it
are
bold.
lucky that Senator Sifuna is not here with us. It would have been more fire.
Again, the Senate is not an individual, it's an institution.
And
so.
Chair, I think on the issue asking about toilets,
Yeah, it's the majority if you're
Chair, there's a possibility. What I can tell you, Chair, and it happens also when you are members of parliament and CDF, that you get a member of parliament, and this is what has happened in the county. You find an ECD was built, no toilets. This was built, no toilets. Now you go back, you ask for toilets, you ask for furnitures. So we have a lot we are doing on that scope, because things were built, but even furnitures were not put in place. So you go to a meeting, the public asks you for two things. Choo ya watoto wa ECD wanatumia choo ya watoto wa
So do you do the standard of ECD kits, the toilets?
Sorry?
Do you do the toilets to the same standards of ECD children?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Now we do.
Okay.
Now we do, and when you come, you can see some of the new.
Okay, let's come back to the numbers.
This thing we are answering, Chair. It's from 2020, so probably we need to dig more detail. That's what I'm saying.
From 2020.
From 2020.
Again, your officers failed to age.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
So we can't tell whether these were 1 year or 6 years, as you're saying, from 2020. I think the same comment we made on note 31. Your officers failed to provide proper disclosure on note 32. So now we are fairly blind when processing this issue.
Chair, can I also request that these documents is not illegible? I don't know whether you have seen it, number 12. The governor can strike it out and get us a better document that is more readable. Because somebody, I can see the vice chair today is carrying her glasses. He is struggling, and he has a set of eyes.
So I think we have it also in the. We have it also in soft copy, so you can be able to.
No, but it's not the complete information that the Auditor General requires. Because the Auditor General requires a schedule that demonstrates the movement from 184 to 125.
We will get, Chair. I think you will indulge us that most of these things you have realized I'm answering relate to before 2022.
Unfortunately, we don't have that evidence here.
Yeah,
if you did your aging, then that would be a valid observation.
That's why I said, we will, if you see this one here, the statement is for 2020. So if you allow us to provide that one, then we can put the aging, which now they stand guided, the officers.
Chair, I thought the governor had said you had a proper handing over from the previous administration to you. I thought you are the former governor, you are in cordial relationship. What does it look like? It doesn't look like there is no seamless transition of those, maybe documentation and even works. And now you have
members, let's not go there because there's no evidence.
Chair, I'm not going
There's
anywhere.
no factual evidence that these are historical.
Chair,
if there was outstanding retentions over 3 years, then we'll reach that conclusion.
But
they have not made that disclosure.
But Chair, you have to appreciate that in almost all matters, the governor has been consistent. Either a document is lacking, we need more time, we need to provide. That has developed my intent, and that is why I'm saying, Governor, you have been in office for the last 4 years. I think if there was something missing, you should have known by now. If it was year one in office, I would be with you. But on this one, I think you are just being unfair.
No, it's not, Chair, and I have no bad blood with my predecessor. Yes. All what I'm saying is, the guidance of the chair of edging these issues is what we did not take into consideration when we came. And now we are going to put it on the edging where and you'll be able to establish.
But your technical staff through the chair, these are things that you agree with OAG chair. An audit is not an offense, it is a process. We might exclude you because of other, but you are the gentleman who is in charge of finance and other technical people should have known that what we need is what already be read in management letter. It should have been easier for you, Governor.
Order, Governor. I think we are making suggestions to improve this exercise in future. So let's just take note of the comments so that it's not a back and forth. Senator Maruma?
Yeah, Chair. If there's a template of making the register, because then the auditor is saying this does not pass for a register, then it should be made possible for you to see and make that register. Number two, an amount of 99 million was borrowed from that deposit account. 89,500,000 has been refunded. We are still to refund 10 million. Where is the 10 million? And how sure are we that the contractors who are supposed to be given their money after completing the 6 months mandatory time are paid their money? Because there's 10 million still not refunded out of the 99 million borrowed.
Maybe as you answer that, what does the PFM Act and regulation require you to do when you're borrowing from deposits and retentions? There is a procedure that is prescribed. Was that procedure complied with?
Chair, one to answer on the register first. The register, maybe the AOG needs to guide us on what type of register they use, because as we have what we could provide, but if they have a specific one, the template, then they can give us, then we can adjust our register. The second one, I give it to the CC to see what procedure they use to withdraw the money.
CC?
And why is there missing 10 million? One of your officers can answer.
Let's start from what the law requires and whether you complied. CC? Governor, you came with people who I thought introduced themselves as very senior.
Yeah, next time I think I'll leave them out the room, because I'm wondering, they keep on looking at each other like.
Okay, through the chair, I'm sorry, because as well, I took over this department quite recently, but still all the same, since I'm in charge there, I followed up on this. Yes, we required to actually have approvals, which then when I checked through, those approvals were not there. But then at least the effort that we've made so far is that recovery, and I've also proceeded to make sure.
So you breached the law?
As a county, admittedly, yes.
But I thought the gentleman sitting behind you was then the CC, Finance.
Acting at that time, I think.
So this was a borrowing of which year? Because looks like someone was looking for 100 million.
No.
Haraka, nitumia 100 million haraka. Then you went to the deposits account, took 99 million without any approval, without any report to the assembly. This is criminal. Which year was the borrowing done?
2023. 2024 through the chair. 23, yes. Through the chair, this was 99. Maybe I need to look at your international conference.
If the procedure was followed.
Please go on record. Just make sure you're on record.
Yes, thank you, through the chair. And like I said, admittedly, yes, we confirm. When I took over, I found this had been borrowed unprocedurally, so to say. because the procedure required that we got approvals, including from the county assembly, which was actually not done.
What instrument did you rely on to reach the conclusion that this was a borrowing from the deposits account? It was a borrowing, not settlement of retention. Was there a letter?
No, Chair.
There was no letter.
I didn't find any letter.
How was the transaction initiated? Because for 99 million to move from one account to the other, there has to be some paper trail. Someone must have signed somewhere, even if it was not taken to the assembly, etc. So what makes you report to the Senate that this was a borrowing?
And if that need was there, some meeting must have discussed that to sanction that
I think, Chair,
and what was that money going to be used for?
I don't know, Chair, how they borrowed and whatever, but the CC who was there now is the CC Trade. So I'm sure the CC here can check with his colleague and provide all the documents which are required for what happened.
Yeah, because we want to identify the person
the officer is not
who
out
broke
of office.
the law.
It's just in another department. So I'm sure you can be able to pursue and get all the relevant documents required.
Auditor, perhaps you might need to pull up that relevant section of the law, because we dealt with this last week. I think last week we had a county. I remember the Reverend was here and was very alarmed at the practice in that county. I'm trying to remember which county it was. I don't know whether it was Mombasa or Samburu. I think it was Samburu. It was Samburu County. And you see, we said you can borrow, but there is a procedure. And that procedure includes the county assembly. You cannot move 99 million from one voted to the other without that authority. And in this case, we have no visibility on the need for that money. At least when Vihiga came, they told us the money went for a bash, for a housewarming party, for the speaker. When Embu came, Embu told us the money went to a border empowerment. ENW 99 million, which was done unlawfully, what was it used for?
I think that they need to have that documentation for that showing that
they will
need,
get the tabulation,
because at times, Chair, that money could have gone to paying pending bills, and at times their pending bills are fictitious. That's why we really need to follow through.
I don't think we went to pay pending bills, Chair, but I think the CC who was there previously need to explain the transactions, how they went and they were paid what. We never borrowed to pay pending bills, as far as I'm concerned.
I think, Governor, this should concern you. It should alarm you.
Yes.
I don't know how much money there is in Kilifi, but if 99 million was borrowed from an account without due process, without clarity on what it was going to be used for, and then it remains unsettled until February 2026, and even when it was refunded, it was 10 million less. This should worry you a lot.
I know, Chair, at one time they borrowed money during the investment conference from the retention account, but that's why I say I need to get a breakdown of what was borrowed for the investment conference, which we had in 2023.
Auditor, did you get the relevant section of the law?
Not yet, Chairman, but we'll...
Yeah, but I think the CEC seems to be aware that there is certain obligations, certain steps that you must go through for you to be able to move that money from one account to the other. Because in the absence of that evidence, this is one of the things we define as theft. Because what is theft? Depriving somebody of a benefit. You are depriving your contractors of something that is due to them. That is a classical definition of theft.
And Chair, for our comfort, then we need to know if the suppliers have been paid after the defect liability period is over. Are you paying them seamlessly, or there's a problem? On record, really. On record. You'd answer that on record.
The chief apparently has that information. Can you please tell the House how much was now and how much was the 22? He says this can explain 75 and 22 he inherited. So can you just answer? Yes.
By the time His Excellency the Governor was taking over office, there was already an outstanding of 22. million borrowed from the retention account. And then the 75 was borrowed during his tenure, which now 89 has been refunded, and a payment voucher is already is ready for the balance.
What is asking?
Was the 75
was it
million
borrowed
done
for what? That's what
in
you need to
accordance
say.
with the law, and what was the purpose?
Yeah.
No, the 75, as the governor says, was for investment conference.
What does the law require you to do to validate that borrowing?
It ought to have gone through the assembly, as the CC has said.
Did it go through the assembly?
As the CC has said, that route was not taken.
Since you have this background, are you the offender?
No. When I took over, when I joined finance, this had already been done, but I have that information after digging through.
Let's not belabor the point. Governor, you understand the law has been breached. We don't have any evidence that this money was used for the purposes that are being alluded to. And if we cannot get that visibility, we will be asking EACC. This is an open and shut matter that EACC should be able to pursue. Because as I said, you are depriving contractors of their benefits through these reallocations. And that is theft.
I think, Chair, the money which was borrowed for investment conference, I was informed, the procedures, whether they were followed, is when they did not inform me. Now that I know they had to go to assembly and whatever, they need to provide all the evidence to this committee on the transfers and how the money was spent. It's there. The money was not lost.
How much was
the
used for
22 we cannot account for. Sorry?
How much was expended for the investment conference? Maybe we might need
75 million.
Or the whole amount.
But which was already pending, which we inherited. So we need to get the information of that one, the one of investment conference. The CC, as I said, who managed the invest conference, is now in trade. And actually he borrowed when he was already in trade. So whoever worked with him from Treasury to get that money should be able to give evidence of all the money, how it was spent.
Governor, there must be checks and balances in public finance management.
Yeah.
You can't have a CC with unilateral powers just to move money from one account to the other without going back to the assembly, which has the responsibility of approving budgets. I think this is a very material amount. We have dealt with small amounts in other counties, but for Kilifi, it is a matter that raises serious concerns. We'll revisit this matter when we come to Kilifi, and I hope by that time we will get a better account on the procedure that was followed. Because what you are saying is, in your long register, you're saying, yes, we owe contractors 125 million, but in the bank, you only have 26 million. What if all of them were to file?
Not 26, Chair. In the bank, we have a balance of 39.
No, Governor. Note 20 to the financial statements on cash and cash equivalents reflects a balance of 26 million held in the county deposit bank account, resulting to an unexplained variance of 99 million. And that's a 99 million you're explaining. So you owe contractors 125 million, but you only have 26 million. And yet that money was deducted when making their primary payment.
See, Chair, what was not put here properly is the explanation, because this was for last year and the money was returned this February. So that they should have been able to produce evidence on the balances, the account, because 89 million was deposited in February this year. So should have been able to demonstrate that. That's what they did not.
The auditor's report is correct. As at the time of audit.
Of the time of audit, yes, that was the situation.
You are 99 million short.
Yeah, but in February, the 89 million was returned. So maybe we need to allow the Auditor General to verify all the documents before your visit, and we can hand over the either we forward here or during the visit we deal with it.
So yes, you see, if someone takes away my bicycle without my authority, and then they later bring it back, is there a case there? Can they say that, I'm sorry, I stole it, but I've brought it back?
Yes, there's a case, Chair. You cannot say that you've brought it back. Thank you.
Well, that's where we are, Governor. I think where we have reached, unless there's a further query on this, I would have proposed an adjournment, and I would also urge the Governor that your team needs to up their game, because we have asked questions that many of which ought to have been answered. And if your team was dedicated at the time of audit, quite a number of these things would not have found their way to the Senate. And I want to believe this is a value of having these conversations. I think my colleagues felt like Kilifi has never appeared before this committee, but I do remember Kilifi has appeared before. I think when we were at KICC. But that's been quite some time back. So when we have these regular engagements, it helps to expose some things that might not be criminal, but are just administrative. And I hope that your delegation will go back knowing that there's more that is expected of them. And also, Governor, you'll also go back knowing that there's much more that is expected of you. I think the more regular we have these meetings, the better for the entity. So we will not tire, we will not be fatigued. When we come to Kilifi, we will deal with the other issues in addition to the few areas that we have left pending. That matter of systems, particularly the matter of pending bills. I hope by that time your accountants will have done a proper aging and that you'll have prepared a payment plan, because it's a constant cry we hear. When people know that we sit in these committees, sometimes you get anonymous letters, anonymous petitions that please, when the governor comes, ask this and that. But we try to restrict ourselves to the audit report, because if you have to act on every anonymous request you get from the public, you can easily mix things up. So pending bills seems to be a big problem. The amount is extremely huge. And we've not had time to go through the receipt of revenue statement. Again, you'll notice the receipt of revenue statement has got a lot of paragraphs on unexplained variances on revenue streams, which is a matter of great concern, because it means that your systems are perhaps not giving you the value. Most of those paragraphs, you find there's a discrepancy between what the systems hold and what is in the financial statement. In fact, in many cases, the financial statements are higher than what is in the system. So that tells us there's quite some problems. So when we come to Kilifi, we'll also focus a little bit on the receipt of revenue. We'll look at the projects and any other policy matter that has remained unresolved. So unless my members have any matter in closing, I would ask the governor to make his closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for having me, Chair. I must admit that the entry of auditors of 2024 and the exit, the only one I was missing, and I can see the discrepancies. So that tells me when there's entry and the exit of auditors, I need to postpone my other issues to sit there and follow up things. But nevertheless, Chair, we have learned some lessons on the issues which we need to provide. I will seek your indulgence that the clerk sends us all the issues which we have mentioned here which needs clarification, so that I can get my team to get all the paperwork there ready before you come to Kilifi. And let me take also this opportunity to welcome the Senate Mashinani to Kilifi in September. We already received your team. We have formed a committee and we are working closely with the Senate committee. And we want to make the Senate Mashinani to Kilifi a memorable one. And that we also account for whatever will be happening in Kilifi and what you have asked today, which we could not account for. Asante sana, Chair, for having me. Thank you.
I think with that, we come to the close. I just want to wish you a safe travel back home and take positively the feedback from the Senate, because if you do, then our next meeting perhaps will be faster. It will be in a much better mood, and we'll be talking about value for money rather than arguing about accounting adjustments and accounting entries. So this meeting is adjourned. We meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. to consider